gentlemen, welcome back to the maintenance bay. In my continued effort to not have to run anything on AC power to conserve outlets, because our office has 4 MCOs and only has 4 outlets, but we have to run some printers and coffee maker. You can't be in the Army and not drink coffee. Well, at least not be in the Army and not drink coffee. Me trust you. So almost everything that we have is DC powered. Even though it plugs into the wall, it rectifies that AC voltage into DC. It does that through either half bridge, well, a full bridge rectifier would be 4 diodes, but you can also do it on half of that and just use 2 diodes. But you're only getting half the rectification if you do that, either on the up or the downside of that sine wave. Anyway, so what I wanted to do with my desk area, I now have audio because I do quite like music, and I needed a way to charge my phone, which is what I do all of my work on, because we're not getting any computers anytime soon, and by that I mean ever. So what we did is we took this car charger, which I had lying around, and just soldered wires in. If you ever go to do this, do note you want to test this ahead of time, because this, what you would think either side would be ground, they're not. They save cost by only letting one of these be grounded. The other one just simply keeps pressure so that this stays centered and you get a good contact. So you gotta pick which side is ground before you start soldering. And yeah, positive's always on the bottom, ground is always on the side. And we're just running that out of one of the yellow wires on this side, which is the 12 volts. Same system we set up to run this little speaker, which also runs straight off the power supply. Again, if you don't know, all PC power supplies, yellow lines are 12 volts, red lines are 5 volts, and orange lines are 3.3-ish volts. This one's really more close to 3.4. So pretty much anything electronical I can run off of that supply, pretty much. Now, there's 2 ways I could have done this. I went with the quick way, which is just run the 12 volt converter, and this has some, not diodes, resistors. Brain work. There's some resistors in here that drop the voltage from your 12 volts down to 5 volts. Now, if you notice what I just went over, red lines on this are 5 volts. So there's 2 ways I could have done it the way I did it here, or I could have cut the end off of my cable and stripped it out. There's usually a red and a black, and those are almost always your 5 volts in, and then your black is your ground. And I could have just soldered it straight to one of the red wires here for 5 volts, and then black to black for my ground. But that means I gotta cut this cable, and I don't want to do that. So what I did is I just went with the car charger port, just soldered it together, and now it fits nicely in my desk. And it gives me 2 ports. There's actually one in the back side of that. And I did the same thing with the audio cable. It wasn't long enough to run the whole length underneath the desk over to here, so I just cut the wire and then spliced in some extra wire I had from this old CAC card reader, which I would normally never cut up a CAC card reader because they're super difficult to find. Supply never has them. However, this is a super old one and ran off of a connector whose name is escaping me, but we don't use them anymore. It was not a USB CAC card reader. So hopefully you learned something.